Welcome back to the Hitbox European Championship number 3 here on Pro Dota EN. This is going to be game number 3 of the best of 3 series between Team ATN and Teamless. I'm Grandis V, once again joined by Kefka. And really, it seems like the draft is crucial for both of these teams to take the victory. Team ATN had a really good draft in the first game, and in game number 2, it seemed that Teamless had the edge. And it played out pretty much as expected, although the execution on both levels was very good, so we'll just have to see how this draft ends up.
Ah, fuck. I was gonna expect the Clockwork ban here. Clockwork on the Red Eye side won both games. It dominated both games, to be honest. And Team Alternate is gonna pick up IO instead. I was hoping for a Clockwork. I really want to see it again. I think it's gonna do the same things as the earlier games.
Absolutely, and the first game and the second game, the Dire Clockwork got so much out of the laning stage, and especially game number 2, the hookshots were 100% on point, so yeah, we'll have to see if that comes up later down the line, and I wouldn't be opposed to Team Altered Attacks just going for an IO Clockwork opener. It might get the favored partner for them, probably Tiny, banned out in the second stage, but I think picking up the Clockwork is worthwhile.
Yeah, and Queen of Pain being banned again by Team Alternate. I wanted to mention this. They did the same first game when they were Dire as well. So this seems like they ban out the co-op when they play Dire. They don't want to face that Radiant co-op for some reason. It's a bit surprising to me, and I would have really liked to know why they do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, if anything, Quap on Dire seems a little bit stronger, as she's good against most of the Radiant dominant matchups. Either way, I think she doesn't really have any better side as a lot of mid laners do. She doesn't rely on stacks as much.
Yeah, and Tusk being picked up this early. They ran Tusk Clockwork last game, so let's see how it looks this game. I'm hoping for a Clockwork still. Like it wasn't so good both games. As an offline player myself, I really like to see that hero, and it's been destroying both these games, to be honest. But other than that, Earthshaker is still in the pool, but Tusk is kind of similar to Earthshaker as well, so they kind of don't want to overlap too much there. And they might want to pick a IO counter here. They are like Disruptor, Winter Wyvern, other heroes. I'm not really sure. Like Witch Doctor was picked early, but it's not really a second pick material. So Disruptor or Winter Wyvern would be really strong.
I like the Wyvern here a lot. It's one of the better counters to the Io Tiny combination. It's so hard to get out of the range of Winter's Curse, and Io kind of has to wait until that's committed before tethering to the target, or else you're just going to get smacked down on the Io if Winter Wyvern's positioned herself well. And it's also good at reacting to the Io Tiny ganks. Just throw them in Cold Embrace, and as long as they don't instantly die to the Avalanche Toss with the Wisp Spirits, you should be able to at least delay until the Io Tiny have to pull out.
Yeah, and I wonder how Teamless is gonna do this now. Remember the first game where the Spirit Breaker offline got destroyed by the Io Tiny. Like, it didn't matter, he had 800 HP. As soon as the combo came off, he was dead. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't even charge away in time. So how are they gonna look for the offline here? How do they deal with Io Tiny? It's also possible it's mid, so they have to think about that as well. So they really have to come up with a plan how to deal with this combo. And if they don't, it's gonna be looking very similar to game 1.
Oh, for sure. At least in my eyes, I think the offlaner that they'll go for Darkseer could be pretty good. For the side of Teamless, combos really well with the Winter Wyvern, and although he's not going to be able to keep himself 100% safe against the Avalanche Toss, I think he's good enough in the mid-game team fights against Io Tiny, and then as the game progresses later, Wall to get an illusion of Tiny is absolutely amazing, that it makes up for the weaker laning stage. They'll probably have to get, yeah, something along those lines, or maybe just throw the Tusk offlane and pick up another support that's good against the combo.
And Clockwork being banned, not too surprising since it won both games. And the Darkseid, like you said, it's a very nice pickup, I think. It forces Tiny to not go aggressive on the lane, so Darkseid can kind of be there. And if Io wants to arrest Darkseid, and Darkseid has boots and Io doesn't, or anything like that, and the Ion Shell just tears Io's HP down so fast, and Tiny has to rotate to save the Io at that point, and then there's like, the lane is pushing, there's a lot of chaos happening. So it's a very nice pickup, and I think it's one of the better ones. It's at least a safer option instead of going for something unorthodox that might be able to focus a bit more on the IO. I was thinking maybe a range hero that can try and harass IO so the lane becomes 1-1 instead. But Darkseid is a very nice pickup.
Yeah, maybe like a Windrunner offlane, or other picks maybe if they left it towards later on. Timberslack would be a lot of fun to watch if they didn't have sufficient lockdown, but right now it's going to be a Bane pick for Team Alternate Attacks.
Yeah, and the Bane was very surprising. It's very nice against Darkseer. It's one of the counters to Darkseer in lane, kinda. the grip, also the nightmare in laning phase is very strong, and but it's not a very common hero. Some teams really like to pick it up here in the second phase, and alternate attacks are probably one of them since they did it, and it's one of those heroes that can be amazing and can do horrible. So we'll see how he does.
It's a little bit awkward when partnered with the IO. Usually I like to see Bane with somebody with like a skill shot stun or something that would like to be set up, but regardless, as long as it's in your comfort zone, it's a pretty reasonable pick here.
Yeah, and Teamless gonna be looking for a mid laner here, I think. I don't think they want to reveal Tusk. Actually, never mind. Darkseid's already picked. I was thinking they can run Tusk offlane, but they already shown their offlane. They're probably gonna be Darkseid unless they want to do something greedy and put Darkseid jungle and have Tusk jungle. I mean Tusk offlane, but that's not very likely. So they could pick up either safe lane or carry here, safe lane or mid lane rather. It doesn't really matter depending on how they're looking at the draft.
Yeah, well, mid laners combo nicely with the Darkseid. They're still left inside the pool. A lot of the common ones are banned out.
Yeah, 20 seconds. Storm Spirit. It's a pretty good pick, but it's like Bane is kind of a counter. Oh, dude, I love this hero so much. This is my favorite hero in Dota.
It combos so nicely with the IO Tiny too. Setting up with the global vision coming out from the Hawk, maybe Boots of Travel on the Beastmaster to out of nowhere have 3 heroes on top of you. So much BKB piercing disable on both sides, to be fair, with like Walrus Punch, Winter's Curse, now Fiend's Grip, and the Beastmaster's Roar. It's very hard for Storm Spirit to commit if he doesn't know where the Beastmaster and the Bane are. Could very easily, after committing for the IO, get gripped, get roared, and just completely destroyed.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough game for Storm Spirit. His item choices are gonna be key in this game. What does he decide to go? Like, there are 2 BKB counters, and like even if he gets Linken's, it's gonna be enough. Does he just go Bloodstone and try and like do as much damage and then die and come back or stuff like that? It's kind of hard for him to. When it gets to later game, how does he want to play it? Because there's a lot of things that can catch him. And very interesting drops from Team Alternate with the Bane Beast. Both Ultimate goes through BKB and a lot of single target lockdown. Bane has 2, and then the Beast Monster with Ultimate, of course. So it's a very interesting draft, and I wonder how they're going to lane this. Is Beast going to be offlane or mid? With the IO Tiny, it's going to be mid or safe lane probably. I don't think they're going to run Beast safe lane, so it's probably offlane, I think, to be honest.
Yeah. For Team ATN, I'm not sure what their last pick is going to be, but as far as Teamless's last pick, it's so difficult to choose another carry into this because I don't think there is like a single hero that can deal with the raw amount of lockdown that Team ATN have. It is a very finesse-based game already. Positioning is going to be absolutely key, and they need to keep map vision up, which is so difficult against Beastmaster, especially if they get an early gem, which I'd love to see.
They don't have a lot of time either. They have to choose now.
1 second down, and it's going to be a Phantom Lancer. A reasonable pick here, probably one of the better ones, but still, if he gets caught out, is just as dead as anybody else.
Yeah, this is like a the captain says, let's go PL, and then like he tells the team like, can you come up with another hero that's better? And they like, no, and they pick PL. That's kind of how it feels like it happened. It doesn't really it can deal with single target lockdown because it's kind of hard to find a real one. There's not a lot of AoE on Team Alternate right now. Like Beast Monster is not really a lot. While Access is like doesn't do that much damage. Phantom Lancer has high base armor. And then Tiny with Aghanims can do some, Bane has nothing, so it's kind of a nice pick in that regard, and it can enable Storm Spirit to be more aggressive as well, because the rest of the team is kind of like, who's the real PL? Like, we have to find a real PL, and Storm Spirit suddenly gets a kill on Bane or IO, and you kind of get wear down in a team fight.
Yeah, I think Teamless's lineup this game is pretty safe, but if Team Alternate attacks get map control, it's going to be really hard for Teamless to move around and actually find any objectives going their way, so in that sense, it's going to mean that these lanes are going to be very important. And I think Team Alternate attacks have a slight advantage going into the laning stage.
Yeah, this last pick could be a surprise that completely catches Teamless, and it could be a out-of-win pick, to be honest, depending on if they're comfortable with a hero that could do. I'm not sure what they could do. I can't really figure out one that would be good. Like, there are a few late gamer, like Huskar is really strong against certain lineups. There's not that much physical damage. Like Winter Wyvern, to an extent, with the Winter Skulls can do it. Phantom Lancer is okay, but not that good when it's still mid game. But I still want to see this pick. They haven't shown their lanes either. Like I said, Beast Monster most likely offlane, but it can still be mid. And Bane has been played as offlane. It's not impossible, and Iotine can go pretty much anywhere. So
I kind of like the Huskar pick here, if I'm 100% honest. I feel that it would kind of fit the bill, although at a certain point he's not going to be able to deal with Phantom Lancer. At that stage of the game, you'd expect the Tiny to have almost maxed out slots, or at least close to it, and be able to cleave through. It would lock down the lanes. Storm Spirit has a terrible time against Huskar, but instead it's a Bloodseeker.
yeah.
Fair enough.
A bit similar, not completely, but Plastic is kind of nice against Phantom Lancer. If Phantom Lancer gets a bit low, you can suddenly just destroy him. You do a lot of damage when he's low, so if you find a real PL, you kind of two-shot him, things like that. But very interesting draft from both sides, especially ATN. I think with the Beastmaster pick is going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be looking for the offlane for sure.
Quick introduction to teams. On the Radiant side, it's going to be Teamless with Yol taking the excuse me, Tusk. Darkseer is going to be handled by Sunlight. Storm Spirit going mid, played by General. Phantom Lancer by BZZ, supported by Kamikaze on the Winter Wyvern.
And on 8-10 we have Sasu on the Beastmaster heading for offlane here. I love to see that hero. Exotic there on the Tiny again. He played it first game, I think, and did amazing work on it with the early Blink Dagger. Nisha on the IO. Same as Tiny pretty much played amazing in the first game. Dimitri on Bane, and last we have Supreme on the Bloodseeker, gonna be the carry here.
Yeah, already the IO is going to break a couple of those trees, and it's very easy to get the double stack off here from the medium and large camp, which can very quickly accelerate Tiny's farm as the game goes later. This can get to a very scary point, but again, I think this is a closer draft than what we saw, at least from the first game.
Yeah, 18's draft is a bit more volatile. It's Beastmaster is a very fragile offlaner. Sometimes he does amazing, and sometimes he's stuck on boots for 30-40 minutes and doesn't have an impact at all, because you can't get in position with the roar, and it can be really hard for this hero if he doesn't get a good start.
This game around, there is going to be a very fast bottle up for the IO. In fact, he's going to start the game with it. Got the bounty rune. Bottle's already flying out towards himself, and for the Storm Spirit, looks like he also got the bounty. Is going to be ferrying out a salve. Storm Spirit, as far as mid laners against the IO Tiny combination, can really struggle once more points get put into Avalanche tossing. Storm Spirit kind of has to come close to the creep wave to get off his remnants, and although he can trade some hits with the IO and put a lot of damage there, needs to be careful. Avalanche already thrown out, and General's going to be put under a lot of pressure. The Brain Yule, they have the Ice Shards, but actually killing off Exotic Tier is almost impossible. Nisha has more than enough bubble charges.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be a lot of damage taken in mid lane, but probably not a lot of people going down. Possibly Storm Spirits could go down, I think. Actually, the Tusk taking quite a lot of damage here. Without Stout Shield, he's actually in trouble as well, I think. But probably gonna be in mid lane where action happens. The side lane is probably gonna be looking very stable. Oh, IO.
Completely walled off, and he's not going to get the tether away. Avalanche will fly through. Yol's dropping low. With the orb damage, it's almost enough. Nisha bottling through the Storm Spirits. Auto attacks will die under the tower. General drawing First Blood is going to help out the side of Teamless a lot.
Yeah, and this is where you would have wanted Tiny level 2 instead of IO level 2. The toss could have been amazing there. Even though the orbs did quite a lot there, I would say. It's still probably favorable if Tiny was level 2. And they might get the kill on General here, actually. They are probably...
Toss under the tower. IO, not quite enough damage. They're taking tower shots. Tiny's gonna go down. It's still okay for ATN since they get the kill first and Storm Spirit doesn't get experience, but that's not how they envisioned that dive going.
No, it went okay, but it could have been better, pretty much. It was a mistake. Tiny was not lucky with the Stout Shield proxy either, I think. It looked like he took quite a lot of damage from pretty much every other attack as well as the tower, so a bit unlucky there, I think. But either way, it's a pretty even matchup in mid lane, to be honest. Kills they are expected to happen, and as long as stacks come out from both sides and it's not too one-sided in mid, it's probably going to be looking good for both teams.
Let's take a quick look at the side lanes. Hasted Beastmaster running after the Wyvern with the Boris, though. This is going to put a lot of damage, but with the Cold Embrace, I don't think Wyvern's going to end up dying here. A little bit of lag there, but Beastmaster's going to have to pull out, at least for now. But now that he has the double boar, going to go again for Kamikaze. Yeah, won't be able to secure that kill, but still this Beastmaster is having a better time than the Darkseer. The Bane is somewhat of a soft counter, and Darkseer is going to make the choice just to run into the jungle. Bane has completely walled him off, and laning against the Bloodseeker, as most offlaners, is already annoying enough.
Yeah, like, you can't deal with Bloodseeker when you're Darkseer. Like, he just has so much base damage, he denies every creep, he gets regen up, he can't tank. Like, triple Iron Shell, he just takes the creep, doesn't matter. and he's rotating to jungle. I think he might have actually should have done this earlier, but it's fine either way. He's gonna get his levels now.
Yeah, he was spotted out by the Hawk, so they know that he's inside the woods, but this also frees up the Bane to move towards mid. General's going to take the Avalanche. They have a toss available, going to throw him back into the creep wave. Yoel's taking a lot of damage. Brainstep will be thrown, but Yoel is not going to die. Slowing down onto Dimitri. He tried to secure that last kill, went too aggressive, tanks a couple of tower shots, slowed down by the storms where OGP dropped low, but not actually lethal. More traded blows in the mid lane. Absolute mess.
Yeah, and Bloodseeker is liking this when there's a lot of heroes taking a lot of damage. Everyone is pretty much low, so Bloodseeker can easily farm better even, but it doesn't really matter. No one is here. Darkseeker is gonna jungle. It's looking pretty good for ATN though, I feel like.
Ooh, General in mid lane is going to take a lot of damage, not able to kill off Dimitri first, and this time around he has no backup, no Winter Wyvern behind him, or no Tusk.
Yeah, that was a big pickup. That's kind of awkward for you. Oh, what?
He denies himself to go back to this.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised only. But the thing is, in general, he doesn't really want to mid lane here against this anymore because Tiny is too high level. But the problem is the Darkseer is jungling, so he can't go anywhere but mid. So he's really stuck in this awkward position, and they're gonna switch lanes. This is very... I'm not sure what the ATN's idea is behind this lane swap, putting Bloodseeker mid. It might be they feel like they've done what they needed to do and now they can spend Bloodseeker there, he can stand his lane, but I don't know, this is very weird. I feel like Bloodseeker did so well against the Darkseer, so they forced Darkseer to jungle, and then General can't go there, so I think that was a mistake, in my opinion at least. It might be a reason behind it that's legit.
It gives space to Sunlight up in the top lane, and although the Bloodseeker is going to do well in mid, I don't see him killing off the Storm Spirit, especially with the amount of rotations that have happened. It's a weird move for sure. Only time will tell if it's a good one or not.
Yeah, and Beast Monster is starting to have a trouble here on the bottom lane. Phantom Lance is just denying the creeps. You can't really do anything with the creep wave. You can't disrupt the momentum or anything as Beast Monster. You can have to chase support, and then when they're low you can get experience. And he's kind of a squishy offlaner. Has okay armor, okay movement speed, but nothing else. Oh, top lane.
Yeah, Darkseer's gonna get caught out. That was, I assume, just the Avalanche toss combination with Brain Step. It's a lot of burst damage, and Darkseer's too far behind to deal with it. Now level 5 on the Tiny, nobody can come top.
Yeah, and like I talked about, I thought Bloodseeker was gonna do well, because he denies Darkseer, but instead they get the kill on Darkseer, which is even better, because now Darkseer is even further behind. He's having a lot of trouble this game. Both offlaners, we saw in early games, both offlaners were doing pretty okay for themselves, to be honest, both of the games. But this time it's gonna be a lot harder for Sasu and Sunlight.
Yeah, for sure. Stacking situation for the ATN side is pretty good. They haven't been able to break the trees again, so they won't be able to stack up that medium camp anymore, but that's pretty much capped out anyway, with the range creeps already in it. And their large camp is absolutely huge. This is a mass amount of acceleration for their heroes that I don't think can be contested by the Teamless side. Although their team can, in theory, take stacks, they'd have to commit pretty much their whole team.
Yeah, Sasu's resorting to stacking Ancients. I think it's a good decision. PL with Bloods can kinda steal them if he has his team behind, but then there's like, they have to be 5 heroes, they probably gonna have to fight for it, and then like it's on ATN's side, and there's a lot of danger in going there, so I think the stacking is gonna be very safe for ATN overall.
Yeah, in general, and Bloodseeker can also benefit pretty heavily from Ancient Farm, although maybe not by himself with just a couple of axes thrown out. Then Supreme can mop up those creeps reliably. Then moving the Bloodseeker into mid has given some time for Storm Spirit to catch up, so he's not as far behind as he once was. But here's Exotic Deer farming up the Ancient, or farming up the creeps, excuse me. And once he finishes up this 5 stack of neutrals, that's so much gold for Tiny, and it's gonna propel him towards whatever his next item is, whether that be drums, blink, or ags.
Yeah, and he already took a quad stack before that as well, so it is a lot of gold for the Tiny. He's almost dying to this. I wished ATN would have sent Beast top instead of having Bane there though. Beast is a hero that needs farm and levels, so I would have really preferred if he was there instead of the Bane. It's probably something the team isn't really aware of in the game, but if they would analyze the game afterwards, they would realize it. It's just a slight mistake, I feel like. But this Tiny is huge suddenly. He was not top net worth, and now he's like 500 ahead of the PL.
Yeah, only about 600 gold before he gets that first item. It'll probably be Blink again. There are a couple targets that he can jump on, but Sasu under his tower is going to be hit by a lance. He'll throw out the axes, that'll help a little bit, but now Bloodseeker's coming in. This is a very aggressive dive by BCC and company. They'll rupture up the Phantom Lancer. Phantom Lancer in a lot of trouble with the Brain Scepter over the sidelines, and although it won't kill him immediately, it's just going to make Bloodseeker hit so hard. 2 kills for Supreme, and just like that, Beastmaster's at level 4.5 and is pretty comfortable with his position in this game. Tiny's coming in mid lane, looking for the wraparound onto the Storm Spirit. General has level 6 though, or actually he's level 8, so he shouldn't be caught out. But still really good for ATN across the map, and you're barely able to survive back at the well. This is making Bloodseeker move so quickly. 600 movement speed is going to start hitting General, pulling him back. Supreme is going to take a lot of damage here. He needs some help from his allies. They're going to Nightmare up the Bloodseeker, taking off immediately. General is going to take a lot of tower shots. Will be able to zip TP right up to the high ground, so barely will survive. An aggressive trade across the board. It looks like it favored ATN.
Yeah, the stacks being taken by Tiny at the same time, and they still got 2 kills on their side, so it's looking very good for ATN at the moment. And Tiny, I'm interested to see. I think it's gonna be a blink. It's looking pretty strong in this game. Overall, I think it's a very good item.
Yeah, even when you already have the IO behind you, just being able to instantly reposition yourself, especially on the likes of Storm Spirit, could be wonderful. They're going to TP the IO to the tower. Darkseer is also going to join himself inside this lane, but in a mere 20 gold, Tiny's going to have that Blink available. He's going to toss down these creeps. Has Blink money, could buy that at the side shop, and might be able to get a very easy surprise kill. But they're going to relocate bottom, looking for the Phantom Lancer. They have no Bloodseeker inside this fight. They're going to toss forward the Io with the Avalanche Gem. Is almost left for Kamikaze, but he's able to get down to the low ground with the Cold Embrace. Should sustain himself, at least for now. They'll get a little bit more orb damage. All they need is the Brain Zap, long range coming out from Dimitri, and that's going to be enough to get that kill. Boom. Tusk as well as the Darks are going to take a lot of damage from that toss, but they won't be able to secure either of them.
Yeah, and now it picks up the blink. This was a mistake, I think. I could have gotten blink for that fight and then picked off Winter even easier. And thankfully they got the pick up in the end, thanks to Bane having incredibly good movement speed and boots as well. And then, but they could have also, if he had blink when they returned, they could have gotten a pick off on Tusk or Darkseer. So I think he could have picked up the blink early. He had the money before they relocate. So a slight mistake, but they got the pick off. They needed Bane, and this got the experience, which is maybe even more valuable than the Tiny getting the kill.
Yeah, Bane, as far as supports are concerned, doesn't do that much until level 6. Nightmare is okay for setting up, but this game, not the greatest, especially since Tiny already has his Blink Dagger, so he can set up himself, but that Fiend's Grip is so very crucial a tool, and he almost has it just a couple creeps away.
Yeah, and Beast gonna go for the Necro build, it looks like, unless there's something else with his stuff with Wizardry, but it's a really nice item on Beast. If you just smoke up with Necro 1, you can kill a lot of heroes.
Yeah. As soon as he has his ultimate as well, he just gets his Primal Roar up and running. And yeah, it synergizes so very well with his kit, the Necro Book. Mid lane, they'll have a Fiend's Grip soon. They have it now. They need to be careful. If Storm Spirit shows his face, I'm tempted to say that ATN will probably just go.
Yeah, and both teams are playing very passive right now. 18 is a team that can pick off a lot, but they have to use smokes for it. They can't really get a reliable pickoff without using the smoke pretty much. They can't really just roar a hero, because it's not gonna be easy to find a hero to roar, because he's gonna be like in PL right now. He's the only hero they can roar, and he's probably gonna get out or get back up in time.
Yeah, there's so much vision around the ramp area, but mid lane or bottom lane, excuse me. Completely called that wrong. They're going to relocate on top of the Phantom Lancer, and although usually he can get out, not against Avalanche Toss.
He did not react to that relocate at all. He didn't even use Doppelgang when the relocate came. That was a mistake. And I thought his team would be like, they smoked up in mid, but they should know that the peel is the one they're gonna go for when he's playing that aggressive. So I think it was a mistake from BCC, and also the team should really have been more prepared for that.
Generals here with the smoke. They're going to snowball forward towards Zasu, and I don't think there's much chance of getting this Beastmaster out to safety, but they still got the Phantom Lancer kill, and that's arguably more important. Zipping forward, if they get the Io, that would help, but he's hasted.
Yeah, big haste for Nisha. That could have done horrible if he didn't have that. Darkseer has mech. That's pretty early mech. He didn't go the Soul Ring. Just went bottle into mech, and it's kind of early. It hasn't even gotten boots, but this is pretty big for them. If they can save someone from getting killed when the ultimates get thrown up and they burst on Tiny, if that person survives, they can turn kind of hard with a lot of things to lock people down. Tusk has a lot of lockdown. Stormspirit has some nice vacuum into Vintage Curse. It's amazing. That combo is not to be underestimated.
Tier 1 tower and bottom lane going to be destroyed by the Storm Spirit, but at the same time Bloodseeker's taking a tier 1 in mid, and they're getting farm on the Tiny to boot. It's a slight advantage for ATN when it comes to that trade.
Yeah, and still pretty passive, even though there was a kill on... BCC is playing very aggressive though, like, he might be baiting this time. I'm not sure really what he's thinking, but it's... Both teams are hesitating quite a lot. We didn't see this dominating, one team dominating early game, just going for kills all the time. So teams are probably going to look for objectives a bit more. Who can get the first Roche and who can take the first towers to control the Roche is going to be a big impact here before maybe the ganks we have seen in the previous games.
Slight advantage for ATN's cores especially, and that's going to translate into a 2,000 net worth lead, an experience lead of about the same. This game is still very delicate for both sides. A lot of ways to counter-initiate, especially if anybody decides to commit.
Yeah, and Tiny's just farming quite a lot. Gonna have pretty early Aghanims. Has Blink already and is over halfway to the Aghanims, already at 40 minutes. It's gonna be a very nice farm for him. Getting this top tower maybe as well.
Yeah, he's going to be close to taking down that tower, but now the TP support comes in. It's from the Storm Spirit. Tower's in deny range. So if they want to take that out, they could, but he wants to try for this Tiny. The IO's there, has defensive relocate, will be in time, yes! So well played coming out from the IO, but now the IO is in a whole heap of trouble. They're going to drop the Remnant right on top.
Both teams are gonna rotate there. Will he take Tiny with him? He might do it.
I don't think so. There's a Winter's Curse, and Nisha is probably going to sacrifice himself. They're going to curse on the Supreme. He tried to walk in to give that tether a target. Now back into the wall, onto both. Exotic Deer as well as Supreme in a lot of trouble. General's going to be gripped. The Storm Spirit will die in trade, or will he? The mech! The Cold Embrace is going to be enough to save him. Exotic Deer tosses his illusion towards General, and he still survives. Slowing down Exotic Deer, chasing him under the tower with the Ion Shell damage. It's a disaster for the side of ATN. They will get the Storm Spirit. Bane was the one to secure that kill, just with the one auto attack, I think. And now smoking away. The Bane will get out to safety.
Yeah, very important that Bane got the kill at the end, but they could have sacrificed Io and been done with it. There was no real reason to fight that, to be honest. If they're gonna fight, why doesn't Beast come? He should probably call. He might not have a TP, and that's why he didn't come, but he should call that out to his teammates. But I was so lucky for the Storm, actually. And in mid lane, there's a lot of action, actually, that I missed.
Roar onto Yol. They'll be able to get kill onto the Tusk. Can they chase forward for BZZ? Doppelganger has already been spent. It's only level 1 Doppelganger. Long cooldown spell. But Phantom Lancer is very fast with just his drums up. So BZZ is going to be out to safety. They won't be able to chase.
Yeah, and I was going to mention on top lane, the Storm got the kill on Bloodseeker, who has Blood Rage on him. So Storm Spirit was pretty much dead. He had like 5% HP, and then he got the kill on Bloodseeker and got healed up for like 30% of his HP, which kind of saved him. And then Bane did a nice play, got the kill at the end. But it was Bloodseeker just gave Storm Spirit a free life almost in that fight. Didn't do anything else really.
Yeah, very unfortunate for the Bloodseeker. I don't think Rupture was cast, Bloodright wasn't relevant, but Avitas onto Darkseer, throwing it back into Nisha, but with the Mechanism is pretty tanky. They're going to Rupture him, nowhere to run this time. They commit a decent amount for that kill, but they'll get it pretty cleanly.
Yeah, but they can't really get an objective with this. They don't have Medallion, I think, on anyone. I'm not sure who's gonna go it. I think Beast is a very nice Medallion carrier, but he kinda wants Necropy first. And who can get it else? Bane is okay. We'll see if he picks that up. But they really want to get a Roshan with this lineup. Oh.
Relocate mid. They try for the grip, but aren't successful, so Exotic Deer and Nisha won't be able to follow up. I think this game, Bane will probably
go for
but yeah, they're going to initiate onto Nisha, trying to kill off the IO before he's able to relocate out. They're standing next to him, tethered together, and they'll get out to safety with a little bit of help from a defensive Nightmare.
Yeah, nice place from Nisha there, and as well as Toxic there on the Tiny to make that escape happen. It could have been a lot worse for them.
Absolutely. Tier 1 tower and mid's going to take a lot of damage, even though they don't get those return kills. Tiny and Io were a little bit far away, but they've delayed enough to where the Tiny can reinitiate. They're TPing in the Bloodseeker. Blink in. Avalanche is going to be half dodged by that Nightmare, but doesn't matter. Get the Wyvern. And now with the Rupture onto Yol, he's going to explode to the Bloodright damage, and Bloodseeker will find himself another kill. Tier 1 tower, I believe that was destroyed by the Radiant and not denied. So that's slightly good news for the Radiant side, but they have to commit 2 supports for it. This translates into the Bloodstone for the Storm Spirit, however, a reasonable timing considering the start. But still, the Tiny as well as the Bloodseeker are better situated. Zip in onto the Bane. General trying to go for this kill solo. It's pretty difficult. Bane has a TP out. He didn't use the brain set, but I don't think that's going to be punished. It's a fairly high-level nightmare.
Yeah, and a lot of heroes are gonna pick up their core items now. We saw Stormfront, yeah, like you mentioned, with the Bloodstone. Phantom Lancer is very close to his Diff Blade. Darkseer gonna depend if he goes Guardian Greaves, it's gonna be very close as well. Then Tiny is very close to that games, and Bloodseeker is probably picked up his next item. Yeah, Yasha, that's okay. Yasha and Blamer is pretty strong, so there's gonna be a clash pretty soon, I think, unless both teams want to farm for a very long time, which I don't think they will. And this item is gonna be very important. And the mech is only on Teamless. There's no mech on the side of ATN, which can be a danger for them.
Yeah, it's another item that's very good for ATN to pick up, but they just don't have the hero to snag it. I was too far under-farmed, and nobody else really can pick it up, other than Beastmaster. He's the only one with expendable item slots, but he's already chosen that Necrobook, so he's not going to.
Both teams smoking up. I think ATN saw the smoke though. They're gonna stand here on high ground. This is very dangerous for Teamless.
Yoel's going to lead the charge. They'll zip in with General, turning around for the Blood right down on the ground with Blade Mower turning some damage, and with the grip on the General, the Storm Sphere is bitten off way more than he can chew. That's a death right after the Bloodstone too. They're going to get the toss and Rupture combination over onto the Darkseer. Now Kamikaze's left completely alone. They'll amp up poor Winter Wyvern. That Brain Sap did more than 2/3 of his health, and the Beastmaster Boar of all things is going to secure the double kill for Sasu.
Yeah, General being so aggressive. I said it before it happened. It's so dangerous, and he just goes for it, and it did not work out at all. I'm not really sure what I expected. If there's either Bane or Beast there, or both in this case, he get ultimated immediately, and he will go down. And that was some nice plays. Did you see the Rupture came out, and then Tiny threw the hero away? It was really nice to watch, actually. Not sure if they communicated. It was kind of cool to watch still.
Yeah, if anything, I think it was the Bloodseeker casting Rupture as the toss was going, but it was still a very nice combo. This is so much gold, my goodness, that Ancient stack.
Yeah, and ATN are like out-farming Teamless. Like, the game is kind of even, 7-15. Before this fight it was even, rather. But the stacks have been coming out for ATN always. There's always a hero on bottom lane. There's always heroes in their own jungle, while Teamless are not as efficient with their heroes. And I think that's a big reason why they won that fight as well, except, of course, also Teamless being a bit too aggressive going high ground when the smoke ended like that.
The graph is a vertical slope down, and just after picking up the Agnum Scepter, Tiny's now up to a Hyperstone. Oh, Nightmare onto Winter Wyvern. Avalanche toss combination will be the death of him. And there you go. Io picks up the kill. That was very interesting.
Darkseer, there's a blink on Tiny. He can keep chasing here.
Avalanche isn't available, but he's completely walled off. And, well, speaking of the wall is dropped right behind Exotic Deer, so not relevant at all. Tier 1 tower is going to drop very fast to Tiny's branch. There's a Storm Spirit pushing out top and a Tusk invading the enemy woods. But ATN are just getting so much as Teamless have leaked a couple of heroes and are starting to lose map control.
Yeah, Necropy is gonna come up very soon. I'm still... Okay, they're gonna defend this top tower. Actually, Teamless should abandon this. I think they recognize that they're gonna do it. But General wants to go.
They completely drain out Beastmaster's mana. No availability for War this fight. He has 6 stick charges. That's not gonna save his life. But yeah, he got the grip on the Storm Spirit with the Avalanche toss to follow up. And now Yoel jumping in. That's going to be double kill for Tiny. And the tower isn't pressured at all. Bloodseeker won't be able to get the Rupture on Phantom Lancer, so the PL at least will survive, but that's a blink on Bane. 21 minutes into the game. It's a very fast blink for a support Bane, a position 5 at that.
Yeah, it's really nice, but I think he wants to go to Medallion next. I really want them to go Medallion. It's so big for them. They have an okay Roche lineup. It's not that good. It's not bad though. But with Medallion, it gets teared down so fast. Beastmaster is with Necropy and Medallion can kind of solo him if it gets some time. But General again going very deep. PL though on top lane.
Ooh, they're gonna Rupture him up. BZZ's going to try to fight.
Oh, that was a very weird exchange. I was like, Bloodseeker wanted to go for the kill, but he can't really kill PL without relocate. And then if he goes too far, it could actually mean he dies. So it was one of the most awkward exchanges I've seen. Just a Rupture being thrown and then a Difflet being used.
So the end tally, nothing happens. Yeah. Rupture is going to be on cooldown for 30 seconds and now relocates up. So if that happens again, Tiny can combat that. But this is a DD Tiny. He wants to go Roche. With the stain coming out from the IO, with the overcharge attack speed with the Hyperstone, they can soul this one. I don't think that the side of Teamless know what's going on. Their vision around the Roshan pit is not that great, but they might bump into him.
Is this pro gaming? Is this pro gaming?
We'll see. The Sigil's going to bump into the pit, so Exotic Deer and Nisha are going to make the correct decision to back off.
Yeah.
Roshan now down at half HP. I don't think that Teamless can steal this comfortably.
Oh, they're gonna try?
Looks like they want to.
Yeah, they're
gonna think better of it. Yeah.
Yeah. AC on Tiny, he is huge. He is so from this game. Like, he's gonna, when he gets his next item, BKB, I'm expecting him to pick up eventually, even though there's some BKB counters in Winter Scares and also the Tusk Punch. But if he gets BKB, I don't think anyone can stop him. Like, no one can deal with him. A Manta could also be okay option. It kind of makes him a bit more immune to PL illusions since they can't really find the real one easily. So his illusion will cleave a lot. But BKB on Bloodseeker now as well. Necro Free is up. Medallion should be up soon. I really hope to pick it up. And 18 is so strong right now. And then they steal the Ancient stack as well from Teamless.
It's not as big as the stack they cleared on their own side, but yeah, they're getting so many items that can't be replicated by the side of Teamless. Their supports have everything you can want. Io at this point, if you have Glimmer Cape, you're happy. Is Urn and Wand on top of that. They have pretty much everything they need. No matter what Tiny gets, whether it be Manta or whether it be BKB, the high ground potential coming out from ATN is increased greatly. Combined with the Necro 3 aura and the attack speed aura of Beastmaster, ATN's tower pushing potential is huge. If they win a fight and they kill everybody, you could even amp the Tiny and, like, literally be 5-shotting towers. And 5 shots happen in a mere matter of seconds when he has this much bonus attack speed.
And Teamless are actually looking for a fight. This is how they lost earlier, like losing a lot of heroes because they go way too aggressive. And are they gonna think better of it? It looks like they're gonna fall back.
Yeah, this is a very delicate situation for the side of Teamless. If they lose just one of their heroes, and ooh, it might be General, he's going to be nightmared up. They have the grip, they have the roar is going to be connected, they have the grip on the sidelines, and Tiny's just going to wail on him. They have the Rupture onto the Darks here. He'll turn with Ion Shell, but the Blade Mail is going to return most of that damage, and that's 2 kills for ATN.
Really get aggressive.
Yeah, they're going to catch out Yol. Toss onto the Tusk from the Tiny is going to get them a 3rd, and now they'll chase for it for Kamikaze. Avalanche going to miss. That's going to delay a little bit, but this is a Blood Rage Tiny we're talking about. Blink, toss back onto the Bane with the Brain Sap. They'll rip her apart. Phantom Lancer's the only one surviving. He'll try his best to split push top, but there's no way he pushes faster than ATN's lineup, and they could probably stop this if they wanted to.
Yeah, ATN got a lot of gold there. Like, they are destroying Teamless completely now. They're gonna get a row share. They're gonna defend the tower. They can probably go and push after that. All the core items are up. The Necro is up. The Tiny BKB, if that's what they're gonna go, is gonna become pretty soon. The BKB on Bloodseeker is up. The Blink on Bane he had earlier, and then with just Glimmer Cape and probably one more item. They're just so strong right now.
Yeah, Roshan is going to melt. This is going to be an Aegis. I'm not sure if you give it to the Tiny or the Bloodseeker here. That's the answer to that question. Exotic Deer is going to have a double life. It's terrifying. Tiny now gets his level 16. He's so strong. Absolutely ridiculous. He has 2,000 gold on top of his already very beefed inventory.
Yeah, the Siege takes stages in general in games like this. Tiny is gonna be the one that go higher on, and the Medallion on Io, finally, someone picks it up. Soul Request is core item when you go high ground nowadays. You don't really want to go high ground without that item, unless you're like way far ahead. It makes the push so much easier. And on bottom lane, do they want to go for this kill? They could be a really kid.
Blink, Avalanche going to connect onto BZZ. They don't have the war close by, but BZZ is really roughed up by this. He'll try to bottle over the sidelines. Doppelganger, TP, do they have the war? They very well might. Not in range. If he had a Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster, maybe, but not going to happen, so he's going to narrowly escape death.
Yeah, they should probably have relocated the Beast there. They kind of should know where he's probably supposed to go, but it's a kind of minor thing at this point. For PL it would have been major, but I don't think ATN are too dissatisfied by not getting that kill, and they probably can go high ground here after they're taking this tower, but Teamless is gonna try and split push.
Yeah, they can do a reasonable amount of damage to this tower, and they'll shove out the creep wave, sure, but they don't want to commit their heroes, and Tiny is going to take this tier 2 if they don't clip it now. They will. Gonna delay. I don't think it's gonna save the tower though. Supreme is rushing up towards top. He's gonna catch eyes on General. Ruptured up. The Storm Spirit's in a bit of a pickle here. He has a Winter Wyvern behind him. We'll be able to zip far enough away to where he should be safe, but they're bringing the Bane. General hasn't TP'd yet, which is a little bit surprising, but eventually the zip TP will come. Though Tier 2 tower hasn't fallen bottom, it's very, very low. So it looks like it'll be denied.
Yeah, pretty nice play by Teamless, forcing A10 to move around, and they get an deny on a tower thanks to that. Also, they got a bit of more damage on the top tower, so some nice plays from Teamless. They are split pushing, doing it correctly. Like, they have to do this kind of play. They can't fight A10 right now, and they want to delay this game. They want PL to get the late game.
They've slowed down the advantage coming out from ATN, or at least what they're building, but it's still settled down at about a 17 or 1,000. I can't speak English. 15,000 net worth lead and 17,000 nearabouts experience lead. Phantom Lancer now DCing is not great news for the side of Teamless. The snowball is slowing, but it's not getting any smaller.
No, and what items are gonna be picked up next? Bloodseeker isn't really close to a big item. I think Tiny. Okay, he's gonna go crit. I think BKB would have been safer, but these teams don't play safe. We've seen that from the Storm Spirit this game, especially. And
yeah.
What items are big for Teamless? This Orchid is from Storm. Is that gonna have an impact? Like, it's okay. He can Orchid Bane when it's a grip. He can Orchid IO so that he can't tether anyone. He can Orchid Beast as well. But is it that big? I don't feel like it's not what he needs to win this game.
Yeah. Usually when you see the Orchid, it's going to allow Storm Spirit to get solo pickoffs, but none of these heroes are going to be alone, or they're very hard to snag. Bane, as far as supports are concerned, is pretty darn tanky, as the Brain Sept to sustain, has a Blink Dagger too, and even if he might be able to get an Orchid to cancel out a Fiend's Grip or stop something else from coming out, with the blinks on key heroes and with the Glimmer Cape especially on the IO, it's not even going to be reliable. They still might be able to get the Fiend's Grip off if Dimitri positions himself well, and that's exactly what the Blink Dagger is designed to do.
Yeah, I think Teamless should be looking for some evasion on PL. After, he's probably gonna go Skadi with this. That's what I'm expecting. Manta or Lincoln or Manta rather. Or now I'm confusing as well. He can go anything except Hex with this ultimate orb. Either it is fine. I think Lincoln is a lot worse though. But there's a lot of single target lockdown, like Rupture, Roar, as well as Fiend's Grip. So Lincoln is not impossible, but that's what I would have preferred on Storm.
Yeah, I think so too. Storm Spirit's job this game is not to do damage or not even get solo pickoffs, it's just to find the opening so Phantom Lancer can jump in.
Yeah. And so I think Solar Crest is a big pickup they could get themselves to give this PL evasion, but it's not a hero that suits the PL is not that good with Solar Crest because you show who's real if you put it. You can kind of confuse people, which is nice. But they're in a very tough spot. This Darkseid needs to get a big vacuum. They have to rely on the vacuum into Winter's Curse this game. It's pretty much their saving grace in their high ground defense.
If they do get that vacuum wall combination off, however, they get the benefit of having Beastmaster Zora on their side as well as the Assault Cuirass Tiny, and a Tiny illusion that crits is absolutely terrifying. Now that the wall is level 2, it's not maxed out yet, but still 75% damage of 285 is pretty absurd.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. A long pause. Phil is still back. Is back rather, not. Well, this game is... How long is Aegis remaining? I think they still have it, right? I don't remember when it was taken.
Actually, 3 minutes until Aegis is reclaimed.
I haven't cast it in quite some time, so I've been playing, so I have to keep the timers myself in the head, or write them down, so a bit of a habit there. But they should be able to take these outer towers with that Aegis. Going high ground, though, is a different question. They have okay high ground lineup now with the Solar Crest on IO in 300 gold, but the defense of with Winter's Curse and Darkseid is incredibly strong. It could be the thing that turned this game around.
Ooh, Darkseid blinks aggressively to farm a camp, and right around the corner is the enemy team. They're going to get a Nightmare on the Kamikaze. Avalanche toss, smack! That's going to be a dead Winter Wyvern, now chasing for it. The Darkseer is going to surge away and has a blink, so he should be fine, but without the Winter Wyvern on the table, this could get very interesting. Blink, blink. Darkseer might get intercepted here by the tiny Exotic Deer, has a toss, and they will be able to find him. Toss up in the air, and Darkseer is going to hit the deck. Big lag spike there, but you kind of get the picture. Darkseer is down. He has buyback, but really doesn't want to spend it.
I think this Bloodseeker should learn that he can't manfight PL. This is the second time he commits Rupture, and he didn't commit Rupture this time actually, but he had to pop a BKB to get out after trying to do some stuff to the PL. But PL is not a hero you can take down as Bloodseeker one-on-one. You have to rely on Tiny and kill him when he gets low.
Yeah, they're going to ping out the Phantom Lancer. If they get a Roar on a key target, blink in Roar, they found the right one. They're relocating in top of this. Do they have the sufficient lockdown? Storm Spirit is there, but he can't save BZZ. That's a very well executed kill, and the danger of going for these aggressive pushes when you don't have vision where you really need it. They have a ward close to the tower, so they can see TPs to the tier 2, but they don't have vision back here where the Beastmaster was lurking.
Yeah. They should really go right now though. With that kill on PL, that's 45 seconds right now. And they can probably break higher ground on bottom lane. I was thinking they would take the outer towers, but now they can force a PL buyback. Or take Rax probably. I don't think PL will be up before these Rax are down.
Just a couple of smacks, and the tower is already down very low, and they have no glyphs, so tier 3 tower is dead. If Phantom Lancer doesn't buy back now, if they don't get a jump now, they're going to be forfeiting Rax, and it looks like that's the call from them. Teamless are going to let the Tiny have the melee barrack spot on.
Yeah, it's like when you play against Tiny, like, okay guys, let's defend this, let's just wait until he commits, and then 3 hits later, okay, he took Rax, okay, we didn't really think he would go down that fast. The Blood Rage as well, increasing his damage, like, he does so much damage to these towers, it's actually insane. And the H is still up, they could try and go, even though PL has spawned.
It's a little bit more difficult, but I think this reward outweighs the risk coming out from Teamless's high ground defense. They need to go now. They still have no glyph. They're going to zip in with the Sorcerer, but Avalanche catches him out immediately, backing back in the wall onto the backlines, but they have a grip onto Darkseer. He can't get off his mech, and the cleave damage is immense. You usually don't see this from a Tiny. It's usually from Sven, but they're all gonna die. Double kill for Exotic Deer. They get the Rupture on the BZZ, and Supreme has a Basher. Trying to look for that Bash, won't be able to find it, so Phantom Lancer will survive, but at the cost of melee and range barracks in mid, this Tiny cannot be stopped. He has a full Daedalus, and they can't go top because there's a tier 2, but good game is called. ATN will take the series 2-1.
This Tiny, what a beast. Like, that cleave, I was watching and it just dropped, like, suddenly. And the Bane and Beast always found the PL. That was really amazing to watch. They always found the correct ones, which was a key factor in them winning this game, to be honest.
Yeah, really good game sense and just recognizing how the PL was moving, and there's small little tells that you can watch for, and they spotted them out perfectly. So ATN, very well executed in that third game, and it seems that IO and Clockwork were the heroes to watch inside this series. Whenever ATN got the IO or the Clock, it works out wonderfully, and, well, not to say that Teamless put up a poor fight, but very well played. I believe that means that Teamless are out of the tournament as a whole, so ATN will move on. That was the first lower bracket match. We're going to have another one coming up shortly, although I'm not exactly sure when the time is going to happen. It will be coming up next. We'll keep you updated. Just check your ticker sites and what have you. We will stay up to date there. Shout out to the sponsors, Esport Gaming, Alpha Draft, Steel Series, and Dota 2 Lounge, and we'll be moving on to our next series soon. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.